Hi, everybody. My name is Paloma Lev, obviously, and I am so thrilled that you're all here tonight to witness a very special occasion celebrating the work of my dear friend Gicela. And note to everybody who butchers Spanish, it's not pronounced Giselle. To me, it's quite obvious that when a woman chooses to tell her story honestly, she is committing a radical act of courage, especially when she's lived a colorful life, an unconventional life, a sexual life, at times a dangerous life. At times, it seems that the world would be far happier if women would just shut up, be pretty, quiet, polite, uncomplicated consumers rather than wildly passionate, hungry creators. Nothing is more taboo than a woman's pleasure, self-determination, and power. A woman who unconditionally loves herself is almost threatening. Perhaps others would feel more comfortable if women would simply stick to policing their bodies, outsourcing their authority, and their favorite pastime, apologizing profusely for no goddamn reason. But women don't always do a good job at keeping small because they are human. They are complex. They are powerhouses. They are wildly exotic birds who need to open their wings to their fullest extent so that they can feel alive. They cannot shove themselves into fragile little cages. We are creatures designed to be fully expressed, and shutting themselves up is a tragedy for all people. Sometimes we are punished for telling our truths, told we're crazy, bad, unworthy by those who benefit from our oppression. Sometimes the truth is inconvenient and expensive to tell. And so a woman choosing honesty is committing a radical act. Tonight, you guys are all about to witness a truly radical act. I have never known a human more open to evolution than Gicela. Her hunger to grow is beautifully childlike, moving, and inspiring. While many people's traumas leave them cynical and closed and skeptical, Gicela remains wildly open to experience. She evolves on 10 times speed. She sheds old skins every nanosecond like the coolest freaking snake in the world. And she understands that in knowing herself, she can heal herself. And in healing herself, she can heal others. Her story is really important because it's not just her story. It's the story of women, the story of bullshit that is flung at women, that women then take and use to punish and shame themselves. It's the story of bravery and love, the realities of abuse and trauma, the way a woman's voice is so easily muted. It's a story about the horror and the beauty of a woman's journey, the way one heals oneself in motherhood, learns to reparent herself as she parents her child. It's about the traps of being a good woman, a good mother, a good person, amongst all the paradoxes of what good means for women. It's about the disturbing depth of a woman's pain, about choosing sober truths over chilling numbness. Her journey from feeling dead to feeling alive again, and the triumph of rising like a cool-ass phoenix. Her book belongs in the world, and so I have fought for it, and I'm confident in that. So much so that I have secured my first copy. Look, guys, I do not buy books, okay? I get them from the library. But I have already pre-ordered my copy of Gicela's book because it is necessary, because it's the truth, because it feels like the world is often very starved of truth. I have seen her life in so many stages, and I'm very curious about the pieces that I haven't seen. I want to see them in vivid detail. I care about Gicela for many reasons. One, because her inner child and my inner child love to play together, be mischievous, and make each other laugh. Two, because her journey as a mother who went about freeing herself to live an unconventional life reminded me of my own super brave, amazing mother. And three, because Gicela has offered me something so remarkable and healing, something that I learn from every day. She fully accepts me as I am, an intense ADD redhead who always has more to say. And she doesn't just accept me, she thanks me for being who I am. She embodies acceptance and love, and she has learned that love very intentionally from some deep pain. And finally, she understands that in standing in her truth, she allows other women to stand in hers. She has wrestled this story out of her friends, and she's had to combat a lot of shame, a lot of who the hell am I to be speaking, and questions of judgment in the process. And so this is the vulnerable work. And isn't that all that we can ask of other people? Even when you're scared, even when your hands shake, when you're uncertain, take a freaking step forward, trust yourself, and reveal yourself in bravery so other people can be brave themselves. Today, you're witnessing a big part of her dream. She deserves all the love that she can get, so please don't be shy in giving it to her. And so finally, to be an author is really to say, my story is worth writing. To confront the voices that say you are nothing, you're an object, you are not worthy of your voice. Her life has given her a hand of cards that was a big old fuck you to her God-given right to govern over herself and her life, but she's dedicated herself to rebuilding, to breaking intergenerational patterns, to taking the beautiful pieces she's collected and building a powerful sense of self. And so thank you guys all. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so grateful to be witnessing this moment with all of you guys. And finally, I'm going to end with something ridiculous because that's who I am. If you want to pre-order her book, comment yes with your email in the comments so she knows, and you might just get a special signed copy once it drops. And so, without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Gicela, who'll be reading chapter 1 of her beautiful book. You go, girl.
What an intro!
Oh my God, that was amazing, Pete. Thank you so much. I freaking love you. Thank you. Honestly, I couldn't do this, first of all, without you, but I couldn't do this without the community that we built online with the women who, honestly, this idea to take this fast of action came from our meetups, our virtual meetups that we've been having online. So this is just the fruition of women coming together and pushing each other to do the scary thing, to do the fearful thing. So thank you so much. And without further ado, I want to just share my dedication of this book with you guys, with you ladies and gentlemen who are here. Let me just make this small. And this is the dedication. So guys, like it said, many people dedicate their work, their life purpose to their family and loved ones. But honestly, I dedicate this to little Gicela that was looking for home in all the wrong places and has fought so hard to love herself to this point. So I'm very grateful for all of you who are here, because this is like, I never thought I could get here, honestly. So thank you. Okay. Let me bring myself together. I forgot tissues. I brought the wine, but I forgot the tissues. So without further ado, let's get started. And again, thank you so much for being here. And I'm excited to share this piece of me with you. Okay. That's the dedication. I don't know who I am to write this or why I was called to this life, but I know it is my duty to turn my life into a piece of art, one that is colorful, layered, textured, and full of imperfections up close. But when you step back, you see how every imperfection fits perfectly into the puzzle that makes me exactly who I am. So starting today, I vow to make this art piece without looking at the imperfections, but instead by putting each piece on this canvas without fear of the final product. All accomplished writers say that every human has a book in them. It sounds good, but who the hell has the time to write? Let alone do it with meaning. Don't you have to be old, white, and wise to be worthy of being heard? Well, fuck it. I'm here in my kitchen in the midst of COVID-19 virus in the last year of my 20s, and I'm just trying to heal, damn it. It's time to let go of all the shit that's been put on me from the moment I was born. Writing this book is probably the second hardest thing I'll ever have to do. The first was childbirth. Duh. Writing this book is a physical manifestation of the work I've been doing in this life. The work of finding my voice, my identity, and becoming the author of my own life. The writing of this book requires me to leave behind the narrative of my life that has gotten me here, to let go of my survival habits, the programming that has protected me up to this point, but won't help me thrive in the next chapter of my life. It's painful. I'm crying hot tears as I write. A layer of my armor is being ripped off, armor that has become skin, that has become me. I'm not sure what this whole process is going to look like, but I'm not going to let fear, pain, judgment stop this journey. Beauty is always in the journey. I actually know this to be true. Take my word for it. The only thought that runs through my head is to keep pushing for who this book is for. This book is for the women who feels they can never fully embrace who they are. For those whose voices have been silenced, for those who have lived every day just trying their hardest to feel okay, for those who have been living in survival mode and cannot imagine another way. And as I write every word, I doubt my commitment to this book. And yet, here I am. Every word is a signature, a declaration that I'm doing the hard, fearful thing every damn day. At this point in my life, I've had some of my worst nightmares become a reality. Violence, abuse, heartbreak, death, addiction have all knocked at my door, and I've let them in. But this reality is just not my own. It's ours, and that makes me sick. Sick to know that my pain is not just my own, but the truth for so many others. Sick to know that though we live in such a woke time, all we have really done is privatize suffering, individualized it. We've learned to experience it behind closed doors, from far away from the public eye. We've learned not to let other humans see our pain as we fade into numbness because it's the only way to survive. I don't write this book to teach you lessons or entertain you. I write it because I'm tired of living in the shadows of all my traumas, of repeating patterns that hold me hostage to my own wounds. I write to heal, to understand, to show other women just like me that their story's not special, it's not unique, it's universal. And that this pain that we feel, that this innate not enoughness, this identity crisis is not in their imagination. but a direct product of unhealed traumas that we have repressed within our soul, body, and mind. These stories are collections of the pain I've harbored in myself, pain that led me to attempt suicide at 12, 13, and 14 years old, pain that violates every inch of you and does not allow you to breathe without it. But pain has always also created some beautiful things. Through pain, I have learned to love harder, to forgive faster, but most of all, to lead a life that is relentless, unconventional, and far from settled. Because through pain, I birthed my ability to push harder than anyone I know, to find what truly makes me happy and what the hell I was put on this earth to do. My identity, built from pain, no longer serves this new version, but she has left me her legacy of resourcefulness, grit, and navigating the world, knowing that there is nothing to lose but life itself. From childhood, my authority has been beaten out of me, my autonomy violated, my voice choked out of me until the only thing I could say was, yes, sir. What made me Gicela, the curiosity, the wildness, the innocence of my existence, had no place in this world. So I became angry. Angry to be me, angry at my reality, angry at my own vulnerability and powerlessness. As a child, our entire life depends on the humans that brought us into this world. But what if these same humans are the one who destroyed all the very things that makes us us? What do we do then? In these 29 years of life, I have been the physically abused child who would hide in her room as soon as her father came home, in fear of having his fury released onto her for speaking too loudly, asking the wrong questions, or having an opinion. The sexually abused child who understood that her body was no longer hers, and her silence was bought with threats of harm to her family. The bullied child, for her accent, her clothes, her underdeveloped body, she became the joke and target of emotional and physical abuse when she was neither safe at school or at home. The man-eater, the smart girl with a degree, the promiscuous girl, the party girl that blacks out, the damaged girl with a past that needed saving. I've been it all. I've shape-shifted more times than I can count in search of my authority, in search of finally knowing who the fuck I am. I've searched for my authority and I thought I held it between my legs. Other times, I found it in my mind with calculated moves to get what I want. I thought, if I'm smart, I'm an authority. If I'm sexy, I'm an authority. If I make money, finally, am I an authority? My identity has been a product of my pain, my trauma, my survival patterns. And for the first time in my life, I've been able to break the pieces apart, dismantling the stories that have held me hostage to a reality that's no longer my truth. My truth is that I am no longer hostage to real physical pain or living in fear of imminent danger, for I have created a safe oasis away from anything that can possibly hurt me. But here I am, still battling my demons that live inside my body, voices in my head that repeat, you're worthless, you're not good, you're too much, you're damaged, too wild, you asked for it and you deserved it. Fighting the numbness that takes over my body and mind when things get too hard to handle. The urge to drink to finally feel my feelings. That's me. Picking up leftovers off the floor, trying to figure out which pieces of myself are truly me and which have been created out of pain. My story's not unique or special. It's the accepted way of existing in this world. Power, money, competition, violence, unhealed trauma, addiction, numbness, and the commodification of our humanity is the way of life. But I refuse to continue playing along. My healing, my sobriety depends on owning it all. The messy, the hurt, the pain, the downright shame-ridden parts of myself. This is how I take my power back from my abusers, how I break the cycle so my daughter does not inherit my pain. This is my declaration of independence from the things that have tried to destroy me. Through these stories, you will see yourself, your sister, your mother, your friend, your partner. And my wish is that we can stop carrying these stories inside of us like hidden secrets that cannot exist in the light. They can, and they have. I've been the aggressor and the victim, the abuser and the abused, the manipulated and the manipulator, the broken hearter and the heartbreaker, the cheater and the cheated, the liar and the lied to. I've carried the baggage that came with all that I've lived, and I'm ready to leave it at the door. I've tried many times to save myself, worked many jobs to make ends meet, but I always meet a boy who was dying to rescue me, like a shelter dog, looking for a home. I would run to the opportunity to finally not feel alone, unloved, worthless. Run into the arms of a man that would finally validate me before violating me, even though they knew nothing about me. But they loved it, and I was good. I knew exactly how to validate a man, how to suck on his ego with my words. I could make him believe he was king with my touch. But I'm tired of playing the roles. Today, I want to save myself. I don't want anyone to save me, not anymore. And then we go into a quick little journal entry or poem, I guess. I wrote it May 7th, 2014. And I wrote it in both Spanish and English for you guys. So it says, El amor. El amor está en todo. Es una canción que te llega al alma. En la sonrisa de tu hija cuando te dice te amo. En una luna llena cuando miras hacia arriba y ves lo pequeño que eres entre todo. El amor existe en todo. Solo tienes que notarlo en el aire que respiras, la naturaleza, en la primera prueba de café por la mañana. El amor es todo. And in English is, love is everything. In a song that reaches your soul. In your daughter's smile when she says, I love you. On a full moon when you look up and see just how small you are among everything. Love exists in everything. You just have to take notice in the air you breathe, nature, in the first taste of coffee in the morning. Love is everything. And that's all. You can mute yourself, guys. You're here. Hi. Oh my God, 23 people.
Guys, thank you so much. I think it would be really amazing now if you're down for it. I would love to go one by one and just share with Gicela, how did you feel listening to that? What stuck with you? And what would you like to say to Gicela in her journey as she writes the rest of her book, if she's nervous or scared or thinks this book doesn't need to be written? She needs to know that it does, and that was so mind-blowing. So Danielle, you want to go first?
Yeah, actually that's Mom, but I'll go second.
Oh, it's actually, yeah, sorry.
I would love, Don, can Mom go first, then you go?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
Yeah,
share, guys, what did that mean to you?
This is Daniela, which is like Paloma.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This is Daniela, which is like, you take a regular Daniela and you double it. And so this is like full strength Daniela. Gicela, wow, I am blown away. I had no idea. Wow. I was blown away by your introduction, Paloma.
Oh, thank you.
And I can see both of you guys on stage delivering this stuff. Gicela, first of all, I'm so sorry that you went through whatever you went through, which we'll find out in future chapters. But your first chapter is very brave and makes us want to read the book and takes you out of that category where, you know, people say, well, you know, it's not a how-to book and it's not a this and it's not a that, so why am I reading it? But having heard that and having read that, I'm sure the person's going to want to read the next chapter. And especially for your daughter. I mean, if nobody else in the world ever reads this book other than your daughter, it will have served its purpose, I think. And you know, I'm sure a lot of other daughters will read it as well. So I just want to congratulate you and Paloma. I mean, I think what you guys presented tonight is so much more powerful than I could have imagined.
Guys, that's my mommy, and that's Daniela's mommy. And
adopted mother.
and was adopted, no, but my mom had a big influence on all of us because she's the one who started her brave, amazing journey. And and built her own reality, built her own dream when she didn't have the support of the community or the tools that we have. And she's like the real original gangster that we attribute to so much stuff. So we love you, Mama.
I'm going to get a t-shirt, right, that says that?
Oh, 100%. You'll get a signed copy.
Three-quarter sleeves, though.
You'll get a heavy discount on your first copy, Mom.
No, I'm talking about a t-shirt that says what you just said.
Definitely, Mama.
100% cotton, three-quarter sleeves. Don't forget.
And I'm grateful that you're here, Ma, too.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks, Mama.
Thank you.
Donnie, did you want to share? Guys, just share what this meant to you or what stuck with you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's funny. I started tearing up a little bit when I saw the pictures. Like, it's funny because I was like full crying when the picture of you and I came up, but it was kind of by accident because I started crying on the picture before it. And the reason is because that's around the time, like those pictures were from around the time that I met you. And so when I saw that face and I saw that body and I saw like everything in the photo, I remembered like that's the Gicela that I met. And Gicela and I actually have like a really cute story of how we met, which briefly was that I went to a Colombian Independence Day festival here in Toronto with some friends of mine, and she had gone with some friends of hers, and she was like my friend's friend's friend. I bought a plate of food and sat next to her and said, I hope you'll share this with me. And we started talking about our lives, and we opened up so much to each other that day. And I saw your face and I was like, that's the Gicela that I met. And I feel like we've been through a lot together. And the amazing thing is that even though I was present with you in that time, like hearing what you said today and how you've kind of summed up, like how you've introduced this, how you've summed up this, even just like knowing like all the things that you, like, even to be honest, not knowing all the things, knowing a piece of all the things, because really even just like being your friend, like I've only really experienced a piece of it. Seeing all that and then seeing how you've described it, like for me to be able to pay attention to anything really exciting, I have to be able to write all the things I'm feeling. And I started grabbing my notebook and writing things. And like, for me, that's just shows me when something just really speaks to me and is so inspiring and powerful. And I think the first thing I wrote down, which I already knew, but to be honest, not to this level until today, was like, Gicela is a fucking incredible writer. But you know what the thing is that not only like an incredible writer, what I did know is like the depth of meaning with which you understand things around you and how things happen, and even just like the narrative that you put on top of it. Like, I mean, Paloma said in her introduction, like a lot of people who've been through trauma and abuse become bitter. They inflict pain on others, right? And like you have always had this way. I mean, one of the things about, and I've said this to you a million times, like one of the things I've always loved about you is your joy and how you always kind of connect back to joy. You connect back to like a spiritual side. You connect back to the meaning in all this and like the beauty of it all, even like the painful stuff. And I think like in what you just read us, you did such an amazing job of explaining some of the important parts of what you've been through and making it so appealing to us. And it's just so beautiful also how you said it's a universal story and you connected it to things that are so relevant, you know, to how we all live our lives, like self-worth, self-love, the journey, having been through stuff, having been through pain, like all these things. I just think that your story is so important for us all to read and hear. It's going to be so beautiful and enjoyable and meaningful for us to all read and hear. I also see you on stages, and it's just so beautiful. It's so touching. I'm so grateful to have heard this, and I'm just so excited to see where this is going to take you. But absolutely, like, the world needs to know your story.
Thank you. Love you so much. Katia wants to go next.
Yes. First of all, wow. You are a light, let me tell you. The writing, the way you describe things, the way you articulate it made me feel deeply. And I think this is to me what good writing is, that it's not just in your head, that it's a physical experience. That's also all these things that you went through. Holy shit. and to have the courage to actually show up and dig deep and do the work around it. And it takes a lot of courage. And I have to commend you for that. It got a little personal because I have children the ages that you described, and I just, like, my heart broke every time to think that a child can go through such deep sadness and despair, you know. I look forward to holding the book in my hand and have it signed by you personally with my name in it. I can see it as a movie. I can see it as a TV show. And what I really find it to be, I'm going to keep it short, but what I really like, what stuck to me is that it's a light in the darkness. It's kind of like a guide for others, you know, and a lot of people will relate to you. Like a ton of people will relate to your story, and that's the beauty. It's unique, but again, as you said, universal. As Paloma said, universal. Who said it?
We both did. But you know what, Katia? Since I'm a deal maker and Katia is an incredible actress, would you play young Gicela?
Oh, I could.
You actually do look like her pre-baby, so we might have to work this out. For a very modest compensation package.
No, we're gonna get millions for that as a budget. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Katia.
Thank you, Katia.
Thank you for sharing this. Thank you.
Stacey?
Yes. Wow. Gicela, that was not just incredibly well written, but there was so much heart, but like powerful heart, so much powerful heart and emotion in there that even just hearing your story and the way you owned and loved all the versions of yourself came through in that first paragraph. And it's like, even just hearing that little bit sort of helped me to own the versions of myself. Like I just immediately was filled with compassion for you and for me. And that's beautiful. That's just amazing writing. So, you have so much warmth even when you speak, and then it just came through so big in the way that you wrote. Your book would be something I would not put down until I read the whole thing. It was just, there's just so much warmth, and I loved it. So thank you for reading it.
Thank you, Stacey. That means a lot, because that's what I want. I want people to have more compassion for themselves. That's something that has helped me tremendously in this journey. It's just having a ton of compassion for the other versions of me that have gone through this pain, you know?
Well, that came through.
Thank you. Camila wants to go next.
It's me. Okay. So I got a phone call actually right when you were in the middle of it, so then I had to take the phone call. But I think that's actually even like more standout to me that I didn't even hear the majority of what everyone else heard, and yet like even just your dedication and the very first paragraph that you read, like I was like, oh shit, yeah. Like I was already there, and I was so mad I got a phone call that I was like, God damn it. Like, call me later, important work stuff. Anyways, but I think that something that I would challenge you to really ask and really, I'm sure that this is already in for you, but like your audio book needs to come out like ASAP Rocky, because I think that there's so much power in the way that you read it, and I felt the heart. Like, your words are beautiful and I want to read them and also have an autograph copy, but I think the world really needs to hear it, like in order for it to land really the way that it did for us all right now. I'm just telling you to get your audiobook done. Yeah.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. I feel that too. I feel that the audio with like me reading it, it just has a next level of like impact in terms of for the reader. Yeah. Thank you for that. Who wants to go next? Samantha, go ahead.
Oops, hi. Sorry I was late. That was awesome, first off, because I really admire people who have very creative writing styles. I don't pretend to be a good writer in any sense of the word. And it was just so raw and well laid out that I felt connected to it, even though I don't have a similar backstory. But it was really, really like honest. And I really admired the part where you talked about kind of like, I would call it a code breaker, where like you're trying to break the chain of like generational, I don't know what you call it, curses or what, like things that have been built in from our ancestors and so on and so forth. And that's something I've strived to do too, but in a different sense. So I really like that you kind of are using that. And I think that's coming also from our Lacey work and stuff, but it's awesome. It's really good, Gisela. Good job.
Thank you, Samantha. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Next.
I'll
Lexi,
go.
can I go?
I'll go. Yeah, I just wanted to say, oh, just like the photos at the beginning, like totally got me. I was like crying. I like just like those slides of, you know, yourself as a kid and everything. I was just like, I was just dying, like, you know, because the inner child, you know. Um, so I thought that was like really beautiful and really like emotive and powerful. And then the other thing is like just the part that you know, you were saying, just being at the kitchen bench and just, you know, like you know, just yeah, having the courage to write it. Like, I don't know, like for me that made it more relatable and powerful, because I think that would be like really common. I think a lot of people, like including myself, have this idea that, you know, like you have to have accomplished or achieved like some standard or some status or something, like in order to be qualified to write a book. So the fact that, you know, like you're writing about your experience and everything, I don't know, it was just really humble and really beautiful. And yeah, like, I don't know, the topic is really engaging for me because like that's like a major part of my life, like looking at trauma and stuff. So I think you know, a lot of people, you know, yes, would relate to that and just be, you know, so interested to read that. You know, especially people that are on any kind of like personal development or spiritual path. Yeah.
Thank you, Lexi. That's amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Can I go next?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay. So it was so wonderful. I'm so glad I got to meet you just full days ago. And what an honor to be included in this. I think it's just such a gift to get to hear this from your personal self. I mean, you think about it kind of, if you fast forward and this does become a book and people do buy it on a shelf, they're never going to get to watch the writer read it to them. So this is an awesome opportunity. I get why people do book tours. Now I get it. I've never been to a book tour like event. So now I'm like, oh, it's so powerful to watch a woman speak her truth, not just reading it, but watching you speak it. So I would definitely agree that an audiobook would be really an awesome opportunity. But you know, publicizing this writing in the future will be key to kind of making sure that it, because you're.
No, you cut off. Lisa.
Can you not hear me?
You cut off.
Oh, internet. I'm just gonna say, I'll be really fast. My internet's too shitty, but awesome job laying the groundwork. You're talking about ancestral shadow, and we met over kind of shadow work. So I thought that was really beautiful. And I think you're totally right, because it talks about how we kind of have to mend the shadows of our parents in order to not inherit the shadows ourselves that they have. So I hope that becomes, I'm sure it's going to become more fleshed out over the course of what you talk about, and your daughter's going to, of course, be included more in your story, because she is the story for you in most cases. So I'm just very excited. I'm very excited to watch how this develops, and I think you've done a beautiful job so far, and thank you for your courage, because it really inspires us all to be more courageous. So thank you so much.
You guys have played such a pivotal part, all of you, in the fruition of this, even this chapter, honestly. So thank you, because it's right back at you guys. Like that power that you see me right now with is the fact that you guys are here showing up for me as well. So thank you. Who wants to go next? Don't be shy, guys. I'll call out on you. No. Catherine's hiding. That's it. She's getting called out.
That was really mean. It's such an amazing to see from how you've developed over the years, from knowing you from like we met when we were 10
Yes.
to now. And I know we lost touch in the last like, how many years? Like after high school, we lost
Yeah,
touch.
probably 10 years.
But knowing you from then and seeing you now, it's so amazing. There's such a huge improvement of who you are. Just hearing everything that you just said in like in your book, I related to so many parts of it, and I've experienced some things on your side. I mean, I experienced a lot when it comes to when we first met. I literally thought you were a bitch when we first met, to be honest. um, but we did stay friends for a few years, and then we lost touch. But now I have a better understanding of why you were that person, and I'm so proud of you, of who you became now. Like I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, Catherine. It means so much. Yeah, I've known her since elementary school, a long time. So she's seen a lot of the beginnings pieces of who Gicela was when she was in a lot of pain. So thank you for being here, Catherine. I really appreciate that.
Oh, you're very, very welcome.
Who wants to go next? Sophia? Don't be shy.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm so bad at talking. But oh my god. I was really amazed with your story. I'm very glad you were able to share your story and have the courage to share. I know you were very nervous, shaking and all, because I know like it takes a lot of courage to be in front of many people like now to share a little bit of you. Somehow I feel touched to the story. I really can't wait to hear more of it. All I can say is that even though I don't know you like that, I know you're a very hardworking woman. And sometimes I look up to you, you know, like your posts, and I'm like, damn, like you're so amazing. And I'm with your story. I just don't know what to say. I just loved it. And I really hope to hear it again or hear more of it, obviously.
No, thank you, Sophie. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Thank you. You made it to Zoom. A lot of people had a hard time getting on Zoom who are not used to getting on Zoom. So good for you.
I was like, I want to miss it. So I got in anyways.
Amazing. Thanks. Who wants to go next? Oh, yes, Katia, no problem. Thanks for coming, Katia. Honestly, such a pleasure to have you. Mark? Hello, Mark. Don't be shy.
Yes, I gotta say it was just a very inspirational book. You're a great, awesome person. Stay strong. Just go forward. It was very touching. I'm glad to be part of your life, and I'm glad I just don't let anyone take you down. Just keep going, and you're on top of this world.
Oh, so. Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate it. Mark is my boxing buddy. We go boxing together at classes when we're not in quarantine. He's amazing.
If anybody needs an accountant, Mark's awesome.
Yeah, and he's also my accountant.
This is Mark from Chillax Tax, guys.
Chillax.
That's huge. It's a multinational corporation, okay? So it's amazing.
Thank you, Paloma.
Love you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What about our non-photo boxes? Or Amanda, if you want to go next, because you have a cute photo. Or Felicia, whoever wants to jump in. Or Heidi.
I want to hear German, but in Spanish.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll talk.
Hi, Heidi. Yes, go ahead.
Heidi. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I had to sign off for a moment, but I'm back. So I'm sorry I missed the last few shares, but
it's recorded if you want a copy.
Oh, you are so much fun. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you that I feel like I want to cry. and I only really cry if I'm really feeling something. I can't fake that shit. So I just, yeah, I mean, I lost it when you said the dedication. I couldn't handle it anymore. I'm sure plenty of people already said that, but yeah, thank you so much. I mean, you're so powerful and you're so strong, and I just want to reiterate some of the other stuff everybody else already said, but I don't know that that's necessary. I want to say thank you, and just the very, very opening beginning reminder that it's dedicated to that little girl and all the things that she needed and went through and how far you've come. That's so beautiful. So
Thank you, Heidi.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love this so much, guys. I couldn't have done this without you. Like, you don't understand. This is everything. Thank you.
Can I interject really fast? I had an idea that I wanted to bring up with you. I really love when I read a book and there are photos in it, whether that's of a house or a location or a person or old photos of family or something. And so the beginning of what we just watched really reminded me of that, of like getting visuals in books, because I love that you can create the visual for yourself, but something so intimate like your story and how it really is a reflection of you in your life and finding comforts of you in your life at different points of your age. Maybe consider putting visuals in your book in the future. Inserts, they're kind of like a little bit thicker, and I don't know, there's just something really special about coming across a book that includes a photo or two. It doesn't have to be overkill, but the pictures of you as a little girl, the innocence in your face, and how important that is to connect, because that's the innocence in all of us that we're trying to get back to and that we've lost along the process. So just something to consider that I've seen in other books that I really loved. So it could be great.
No, thank you. I have thought about that definitely, and I think that is a very big part of the book is the visuals of it too. So thank you. Herman, I know you want to talk. Don't. Let's see if he comes on. Let me see. He asked him to start a video. Herman, maybe you can't hear me. How about Natalie? Natalie, you want to come on? Hey girl, what's up? Oh my God, I can't believe you're here too. Okay, I'm gonna unmute you. Hold on. Let me unmute you because you're muted. Hold on. Okay, go.
Hi, I wasn't able to catch all of it, so I definitely want a copy of the recording because of school, and I can't wait to be done 1 week. So first of all, I choke up thinking about like the timeline of our relationship and our lives. And as I've seen your voice kind of grow over the last few years, it's amazing that you're able to like verbalize and articulate themes and experiences of trauma that have interlaced my own life and so many lives and like lives of women. And so the fact that you're able to bring attention and like put into like actual words what these experiences do and their impact, and be able to sort of like take control of those experiences and allow them to contribute to your personal growth and development. There's so many times where things that you've said or posted just like resonate so deeply with me, and it's just because I haven't been able to find the words or the way to explain them in the way that you can. And I think that there's so much growth and learning that you can give to so many women, especially young women who are so vulnerable. And when I think back of when we were young and thought we were so mighty and indestructible, and we were at our kind of most vulnerable, and people take advantage of that. And so to create and foster a community of strength in women and people is just amazing. I commend you for that, and thank you for being so open. Like, there's so much stuff that I can't even put into words yet from my own experiences, and you're able to just like tell people and be open with them, and oh God, thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. And you know what? This is exactly why I'm doing it, because I know, especially in the Latin American community, it's even harder it's even harder to articulate, because we haven't seen good examples of what it is to articulate trauma and to accept it and know that it's still within our family, and they still pretend that nothing happened. So for me, it's a big deal to make sure that this is heard, and that's why I've had to, the growth that I've had. Like, when I tell you that I fought like hell for finding my purpose, is because I've had no choice. Like, this is what I was put on this earth to do, is to share this so that I can.
But the thing is, so many people can feel those things and ignore them and hide them and push them down, but you've used them and empowered yourself with them. So you're like that is amazing. You're like it's like a superpower.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
No,
I have
thank
a
you.
question.
Yes.
I don't know why I raised my hand, Nita. I can't. I do that on every Zoom call. I look like such a nerd on work calls. I'm like, hello, teacher. Anyways, are you planning on translating it into Spanish?
I do want to, 100%.
Okay. Are you planning on doing it yourself?
Well, hopefully. I mean, I'm very fluent. I write and speak Spanish fluently, so I mean, it's possible, unless I become rich overnight because of this book. Then hell no, I'm gonna pay someone.
Well, yeah, because translating. But when my book's getting translated in Spanish right now, and so it's a pain in the ass. So I'm just letting you know that my Colombian cousin, my primo, who studied linguistics, he did the translation for my book. So
okay, let's connect.
He'll hook it up for you, and he'll do it in pesos too, so it's cheaper. You know how it is, Los deals. So
yes, the connection discount.
Got the family special.
No, thank you, Camila, for sharing that, because I do very much, a lot of my writing is in English, but I have a lot also that's already pre-done in Spanish, but I want to make sure that it's in both languages, because I really want this to hit the Latin American community 100%, you know? So thank you for that. Mary, so nice to see you here.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. I'm sorry I was on a non-video earlier, but had to. But
like, Mary's a video girl. What is she doing hiding from us?
I was doing a walk. I had to finish my walk because the dogs had to get out. So, but I'm here, and I missed a couple of Zooms. I've missed you all so much. I'm gonna see if I can get through this without crying, because I definitely want to. I'm gonna send you a DM later. But I just wanted to echo what so many people had said, is just a part of me was definitely triggered by a lot of what you mentioned in the chapter. It's funny because I actually started Inner Child again on Monday, and we share a lot in common from our background, right down to I may look gringo, but I was definitely my cultural background is in the Latin American culture, and my first stepfather was Latin American, so definitely very familiar with that culture and that upbringing. So I just wanted to say thank you. And part of me is a little jealous because I'm about 10 years older than you, and it's now taking me to get to that point now. So it is so, I don't even know how to put this in words, but exciting. And I'm so proud of you to get to that stage. And so I love seeing that already, the cultural shifts from my age group to, look back and seeing the women just becoming so much more empowered. It's a huge, huge excitement. So I'm not quite OG, but I'm definitely, not a youngster anymore. And it's taken me my 30s to really get to that point. And like I said, even right down to Monday, I'm still pulling that inner child out. So that dedication really, really touched me, because like I said, I'm really, the inner little girl is finally being let out and cared for the way she should have. And so I'm really excited to see, your voice,
Thank you.
For other readers.
Thank you so much. This is so important, because that's exactly who I want to speak to, is the little girl, because that's who I'm speaking to, I want to talk about light, that there's light to hang on.
Yes.
That's where,
yes.
If you've passed through it, and if you're just getting to it, I want them to know, or they're going through it at the moment, I want them to know that there is definitely love, and life still left in them, you know?
100%. And that's part of the darkness, is that you see other people you think living a normal life, and then you're left with a lot of the trauma baggage, and you think you're the only one. And so that's what gets you in that dark place. And so hearing, you know, another person speak about it is so healing in and of itself.
Mary, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Eliza, I'm not sure if Eliza wants to say anything.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, I had my video turned off.
Oh, it's Alyssa Brooks,
Yeah.
Gisela. My hair friend.
I'm a close friend. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed listening to that. It was very emotional, and you just speak with, you know, a lot of passion. So yeah, it was just a really, you know, lovely, enjoyable experience, and, you know, really empowering. So yeah, I just really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming. I don't think I've met you, but thank you, Paloma, for inviting her, Eliza. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Honestly, like, this book has been, honestly, it's felt like the second hardest thing after giving birth, because it's like really, like I said, breaking away from the pattern of like, I am the authority in my life, and this is the thing that's gonna get me to that. And it just means so much to me, because when you're used to just living your truth and you just write it, like I said, since I was 17, I realized I was losing memories, and this is the reason I started writing. And I didn't realize how good I became at writing just from journaling, you know, because I read my past journals from when I was 17 years old, and it was just like, he really likes me. Like, you know, like these like simple things, like, but I like him and he doesn't like me, and like, and then I come into these like, and as I see my writing evolve, I'm like, oh, this is how my writing became better. It's just because I was doing it, and the reason I started was just to keep my memories alive, because I felt like I couldn't get to pick. Like, I have no memories of my mother because my dad like gave me so many bad memories, just trying to delete them, and then it just erased everything, you know? It's like painful to realize that, you know? So thank you so much for showing up and for being here. And I hope I didn't miss anybody that wanted to say anything, but I would love to open up the space for you guys. So usually what we do every night that we're doing, we're all connected, most of us, because we have been doing kind of the work in terms of like self-healing, working through our traumas and our inner child.